All right, hey, good morning, everyone. This video is going to be a little bit of a different type from our slew of task guide videos we've been doing for Gray Zone Warfare. I had somebody leave a comment asking on one of my stash guides to do a loot run, so that's what I'm doing here. Now, I will say this loot run is probably not the most efficient as far as time goes, and I haven't really dialed it down to be able to increase my run speed. However, I do know that you can use the stems, the stitch stems, the STYCH, the ones that give you unlimited stamina for a time frame. You could use one of those during this loot run because there are some big gaps you do have to cover, and that stem would give you some, unlimited stamina to close those gaps much faster instead of having to wait for stamina to come up. So in this video, I'll be showing you the locations I hit. I will do some talking while I'm doing so, showing you the areas that I'm looting as well. Now, as far as this loot run goes, again, it is a rather larger loot run. It will span all the way from Mike 2 to November 2 or November 2 to Mike 2. I do this loot run quite often, usually a couple of times a week, and I always make around, I think the least I've actually made the first time I did it because I didn't really know all the spots was like 8K, so I don't really count that one. But here recently, I've been doing 15 to 22K. This run specifically is a 22,000 US dollar run. So yeah, it's a very good run. Doing this one for me, it's probably the best one I've done yet. But you can determine if you think it's good enough for you to run. If it's time efficient for you, that's completely up to you. I've done it on PvE and I've done it on PvP. The nice thing with this run is that it's got very little areas that are heavily contested. Some of the areas a lot of people don't really know about. So yeah, I would recommend doing this run at least once or twice to see what you think of it when you have some spare time. Now, there are 6 key locations with this run, although they're not required. However, I will say that having the keys will drastically increase your loot total. The first key that I'm going to be hitting is the banned Khampet house key, or like what I like to call the Burger King house key because it says BK house key on the abbreviation. You're going to also need the Inthavong Farm shed key. You're going to need the UNLRA camp schoolroom key that's down there by the YBL Mithras area. You're going to need the Phourun Restaurant attic room key and also the Hidden Fields 3 hut key as well, and the poppy fields that are there. So again, these keys aren't required to do this run, but it has drastically increased my value overall. So I would recommend having these keys. We're also going to be hitting the Fanny Paradise area. I do not have that key, so if you did have that key, that would be key number 6 that could be used in this run. But completely up to you. If you don't have it, you can still give it a shot. There are some areas with some nice loose loot around. And the last thing I will say is I did pretty much sell everything, including an AK-308 that I found, because I've already got a couple in my stash, so I went ahead and sold that as well. I literally did not keep anything from this run except for some hand grenades. I just realized I've been muted this whole time. We have already started our timer. We are timing this. We're at 52 seconds in. That was including me realizing I was muted. So I do apologize for that. I may have to voice over what I was talking about there at the beginning. But basically the map, I will voice over the map. It just basically shows where we're going as far as the loot run goes. So we're here at our first stop, the BK area. There's normally a guard out here that usually kind of tells me someone's been around if there's no guards. But sometimes at nighttime they won't be here, guys. So just keep that in mind. And they are going to be down the road most likely. One key indicator here is you want to make sure you loot all of the dead bodies you see, because you can find cash and high value loot on them. And then the other thing I do in my loot runs that not a lot of people are posting about when they're talking about their loot runs is I always try to make sure that if I engage any AI, that we find those bodies. I can't aim. But if we can find their bodies, we find their bodies and we loot them as well. We're gonna take the lychees for now, just in case. So a lot of times in my loot runs, you'll see me picking up things that you may be like, why is he taking that? It's not worth taking. I do that because if I end up getting through the loot run, hit everything, and I still have open inventory space, right? Then I feel like I've missed out, so it's just a way for me to try to maximize what I can space-wise if I'm not getting a lot of high-value like items. So here in the BK area, you always want to make sure when you're coming in the main gate here, there's a house on the left, so make sure you go in here and you loot the metal box that's on the shelf. Just checking for AI is what I was doing there. Again, these dead bodies do pay off when you come into this area. This guy's actually in here. That's rare. They spawn inside the locked room. Now I got shots getting fired at me. So this is the BK house key. I'm actually kind of surprised there's an AI in there, but so the reason you loot this is the jewelry box that's on the other shelf, but the civilian chest sometimes can have high value loot in it, like that diamond necklace. Right here, we got some rings and a watch. Always try to keep my mags full throughout the process. That's glasses, glasses. I know I got shot at. I just got to figure out what this guy was. This is a good run so far, guys. We're getting a lot of high value loot off these dead bodies just sitting around. Alright, I see this guy out here. Alright, we're good there. Alright, the burnt house is a good location for a bunch of bodies as well. Got one that kind of sits off here by the bucket. Got one here at the corner. Inside the burnt house, you have 4. All right, these 2 are empty. This guy has some bamboo. Not sure how that's even still existing after a house fire. All right, so only one body had something on it. Nothing worth taking there. Let's get the guy that's hanging on the pole. He's going to give us a drink. We'll go ahead and get that drink. Make our way around the curve here. This AI that we took out here should be the last one in the area. Now, sometimes in the daytime, just so you guys know as a tip, the burnt trees, sometimes there could be AI all the way out in there. It's normally only one, though, so just be cautious of that. Bam. Alright, we're going to end up crossing paths with Gordon right here, so we'll just stop in here and sell everything off real quick. Alright, so $317 in cash is what we have found so far. Alright, we're going to head down to the Fanny Paradise in this run just because I want to see if I can get the key. That's also part of the reason why I do the convoy, and I usually go up to the radio station as well, because the key can spawn off AI in that area. But I'm also coming down this way as well to the Fanny Paradise, just because if you are doing the run and you have the key down here, you're probably going to include this in that run, so this will help you time-wise be able to calculate that. Value-wise, I won't be able to help you because I don't have the key, so unless I get it down here on this run, but I doubt I will. haven't heard any AI speak. That's kind of weird. We'll just hit the civilian chest. There's a suture kit. I will take that. That's is there a briefcase in here, I think? Yeah. Nothing of value in there. Yay for us. There can be AI on this dirt road leading back to that house, so be careful of that. Yeah, someone's already been through here and wiped out the AI. But if you ever run into a spot like this, don't just think it's a waste, because a lot of people just leave money sitting on things and they don't check dead bodies. They don't think about checking dead bodies or checking tables or any loot. It's just a candy bar. I knew it was awful quiet, but down here in the Fanny Paradise behind the bar counter, there is a weapons crate. This guy's already taken some things. We are going to take the Mosin though, because that is some added value for us. Alright, looks like we cleared out back this way. Let's see, did he hit? Okay, the office is closed from that side. Let's just see if he actually hit the office from the other side. And he did. Okay, alright. So in this office, there's a safe over here you want to check. Right, looks like this guy's cleared it out. Check the desk. There's a jewelry box on the desk as well. He's cleared that out. We have the MSS gearbox. It looks like he left us an AMP-12, so he probably found a patrol bag or a Delta. Go ahead and take the suture kits again. And go from there. Alright, we're going to head out, and we're going to head up to the ambush convoy now. Alright, currently, with a text message included, 12 minutes and 30 seconds. Like I said, this is a longer run, so usually when I'm live streaming, it takes me about an hour to an hour and a half, but I'm also hitting every like little area. I haven't obviously optimized the run, but I'm not about optimization sometimes. Sometimes I'm just about showing you guys areas to loot and letting you figure out how to optimize it yourself. When it comes to maps and stuff that I use for my stashes, the one that I found that has the most hidden stashes shown is going to be maps.tcno.co. They have the most hidden stashes shown. In every location, there's usually community given. So anything on there from the community. Everything on there is given from the community, so they're all reports given in. Then I'm going to assume that the people that control the website also verify those, mainly because I've submitted a couple, but they still haven't gotten added yet, so I'm going to assume that's just because they're verifying the location of those. Sometimes I get confused on what bodies I've already hit and what I haven't hit. Okay. And one reason you always want to hit the UNLRA convoys that you can find is going to be mainly because they have UN equipment boxes. There's usually always a truck that has a firearms box and an equipment box, so they're always worth checking out. Sometimes you can find something decent. Here we got an M4, FMJ ammo, MP7 mag. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and rip off the sight off that Mosin. Keep it. Alright, we're going to head up to the radio tower, again, just to kill the AI that look for keys. I'm being honest though, chat. When I come up here, I normally die a lot. They can headgut you off these tops here and kill you. Especially shotgun guys. I had to look down real quick just so I can see him through the fence. Alright, and then the truck up here has an ammo box, and it has a firearms crate as well. So we can look in here and see what we get. Look at that, an AK-15, an AK suppressor, another Mosin we can pick apart. It's just a leather belt there. Thought I heard another one walking over here, but I guess not. I go down here to this house down here. There could be an AI inside the house, and sometimes one outside, but I typically only encounter the one. Going here because of a stash. Just remember, guys. Alright. He's always normally standing there, but I don't see anything sticking out on the tables. That's just a food crate. Grab his money. Alright, so now pretty confident. Let's see here. Right there, the water tower is your key indicator. Your stash is right here. Always get lost on that one for some reason. DSLR camera, $600. Just keep in mind that your stashes typically only have food, high value loot, and weapons. We're going to polish that one off. We're going to head right across the way here, the next stash location. So as you can see, this, I mean, even though the Fanny Paradise was already hit, you can definitely see how you could very quickly become full on loot. Sometimes every little bit counts, especially when you're doing a longer stash run like this with multiple cops that you can get to and drop off at. And this, you know, if you're playing PvP and you're doing a stash run, this is actually kind of a nice, like, little, kind of out of the way for the most part. So some of these cops your faction may own, you can just swing down to them and grab them. If not, some of them are far enough out that you could just take over real quick and then drop off and then move on. Should be at least one more AI. There he is. Grab this stash here real quick. Now we have a CQA1. I'll swap that for the M4. And we got a platinum credit card. Put the duffel bag inside real quick. Nothing there. Back here. Let's run out front and get the guy on the road. Alright. Alright, the Vong Pond stash is up here. This is one of the stashes I included on my named salmon hidden stashes. So a VS61 and a 1911 Commander. That's suppressed too. Nice. Scorpion. I don't think I could fit it. I don't have enough room per se. Right, actually I can make room. Watch this. We're gonna drop off anyway, so we might as well just take it, right? Good money to there. Alright, we're gonna head over to Eagle now. Alright, time to run straight up to the Inthavong Farms and get that stash up there. Boom. Snake one. Inside here is another firearms box. Decked out AK. DSO scope. Another bottle of snake wine. Looks like nothing else of value. Damn. Couldn't see that guy. I am old, I apologize. I mean, I heard him, I just couldn't see him. Alright, well, while we're here, let's go ahead and pop up a suture kit, right? Snake wine right here on the porch. .762 ammo, we don't need. Alright, nothing else in here. Now we head up to the pond up here. Should be good there. For this naked tree on the pond. We have a stash right here at the bottom of it. Another CQA1. We're not going to take it this time. We're just going to pull the stock off. Rip the site for now. Alright, now we're heading over to the Phourun Restaurant and then up to the poppy fields. And honestly, by then, we're probably going to be really full So we'll have to probably go to another cop. Alright, we have a little shack up here that's got another stash at it. Actually got a necklace out of there, and now we're full blown to the restaurant. Now the key you're going to need here is going to be the PR attic key. There are about 4 to 5 AI around this area, so I will say be cautious pushing up, because they can be outside like that. There's a little parking area out front up here. We got to go check it, make sure there's not an AI up there that's going to get us in the back. Because he will yep, right there he is. As I was saying, he will come up here when you're not paying attention, and he'll shoot you in the back. I'm only saying that because I may or may not have died to that guy before. You can check these tables outside the restaurant. I've never had any luck finding anything, so I just tend to quickly get, blaze over them and move on about my day. But now, one thing here is when you're coming up the stairs in the back, right here, there's a crevice with an equipment box. Make sure you hit that. That's a patrol bag. We're running a Delta right now, so we don't need that. Make sure you hit the briefcase over here as well. Nothing there. Check the shelf. Expensive smartphone. Check for ammo in the ammo box underneath that shelf. Alright, then open up the PR attic key. And then in here you have a UN equipment box. It has a tech and a helmet. And then over here you have a firearms box as well. So let's just see if we can make this work. And see, we're already full. So now because of that, I'm going to have to run over before I do poppy fields. I'm going to have to go unload again, chat, or YouTube viewers. This is going to add some time to our run, but it has to be done. Nothing like a little stormy day to do a loot run on. Just crossed the 39-minute threshold, pretty much halfway done. So we're back to running back up. And as long as the poppy fields are good like they have been for me, you'll see why I decided to come back and unload. Alright, so we're here at the poppy fields, so you gotta be careful. Sometimes it's better to bring a scope sometimes. There is a guy that could be out here on the right side in the fields walking around. But then there's 2 or 3 real close up here, so. I heard the one yell.
Hey, Bishop, listen when you hear.
That's 2. There's one in that shack far left, usually. Okay, it's weird he's not here. He was behind it this time. Okay. So in here in the back, you have a UN firearms box back here. All right, we got 2 mags in here with some 8.55. I'm not taking the mags. I'm just going to take the ammo. There's some M193 and some VMAX ammo. Let's go ahead and loot the guy real quick. You want to make sure you loot the AI. Under the shack here, you don't really have much. around. You might find something on the table, but so far it's always been food for me. You have a equipment box right here on the outside, another patrol bag, and a military cap. We're gonna leave those. All right, before we open up the locker room, let's hit this guy up here. There's the AI out there walking around. You can, if you had a scope, you can always take him out and then go loot him, but he has an aggro to us, so we're just going to use the key right here. This is the HF3 hut key. Open this up. And right here around the corner, we have a military firearms crate. And we have ourselves an AK-308. That is my third one I've pulled from this chest, by the way. And it's in the past few days. That's just been this week, June the 1st to June the 6th. So that's my third one I've pulled from there. So we're going to get out. That is nicely equipped. You do have a nice big scope on there. So if I wanted to, I can miss my shots. For some of those of you that may not know, they might be new to Gray Zone, the AK-308 is a highly sought after item because it uses the same ammunition that your M700s do, the 7.62 by 5.1. All right, so now we're at the lake here, Namlai Lake. We're gonna look for this collapsed building. We do have a stash right here at the corner of it. Oh, look at that, a little diamond necklace. If you haven't seen the balloon crash site, it's nearby, but there's really not much there that I've seen. All right, we're taking the road because we're gonna swing by Gladiator and drop off here. All right, let's go ahead and drop off all this stuff. All right, so we did skip a stash, but that's all right. Just so you know, if you wanted to put it in there, there is a stash at this little building here at 170, 127. All right, but now we're heading off to the farm. This will be the IF shed key. You don't have to completely loot the farm. I typically don't. I normally just make my way to the shed, loot it, and skirt out. All right, so you can loot the farm, like I said, if you choose to. I'm not going to. I typically don't anyway. Since I've had the key, I typically avoid looting all of the farm. You can find like snake wine and stuff around up there. Not all, you know, I haven't found a whole lot of high value loot in the farm. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You know, could have just not spawned at that particular time I was there, or someone had already hit it on that server. The shed we're looking for is right here. There's usually an AI around this building, so let's make sure. He could have already been cleaned out. Alright, so the shed's right here. Just gonna sneak over here and we'll go ahead and unlock it. We're gonna go inside. Was it? There's AI around, right? Firearms box in here. SVD. And a gear crate. Couple repair kits. Not the best hit I've gotten off the shed. Stash here is going to be at the shack. Log piles. 870 bucks right there. I'll move to the far corner here and take care of this. Then as you can see up here, there is normally AI. Oh, it's right here. I've walked past it every time. All right, an AKM and then a ring. That AK's just put us overweight, so we're gonna head to Cobra and get that taken care of. All right, so the one thing I will tell you guys is when it comes to selling some things, which I do have to do since I'm overweight, we made it to Cobra. Turncoat's gonna pay you more money for things like jewelry and the watches. So I'm gonna sell all the jewelry, the turncoat, all right? And then Gunny will pay you more for things like the wine and alcohol. Lab Rat pays you the most for phone. And it looks like Banshee and Handshake will pay you the most for it. The cameras, I'm going to sell it to Banshee since I'm trying to level him up. Then as far as like weapon accessories and weapons go that you do want to sell, anyone that buys weapons, it looks like they all pay the same. So we're going to go ahead and get those all sold off. I'm even going to sell the AK-308 that we found just because I already have like 2 or 3 in my stash. So, all right. So far we're at 18,441. We're almost done. We have one more POI to hit and 2 more stashes on our way to that POI. All right, let's get this stash right here. 700 bucks. That stash has been hit. Now we're going to move down to this stash here. And then we'll head to the POI. The last POI we have is going to be the abandoned UNLRA Evac Center. Gotta be careful sliding down these mountains. We don't want to go, free bird off the side and snap our legs or our necks in the process. Usually on steep inclines like this, if you take it at an angle, you'll be okay for the most part. All right, the stash is here behind this rock. All right, so we're here at the UNLRA Evac Center. Inside the tent here, there is a food crate you can loot if you would like. That time it only had large meat, but sometimes you can get like, obviously different drinks in there too. There's like a green bottle you can get. One place you want to do, you could check all of these doors if you wanted to. Go inside, look around. You're not going to find much as far as loot goes. Just food and like drink items. Maybe some of the little red medical hard cases if you wanted to sell those. There is some loose ammo. There's one of the medical hard cases. There's a cooler there. UN cooler. Baseball cap. This one's locked. An unknown key, so it's probably doesn't have a use yet, or will soon. This one here, some people call it the principal's office. You come in here, there's usually food on the table and a drink on the back table. But what you want to look for is the metal box on the desk. You want to search these, get the money out, and the high value loot. Sometimes it's both, sometimes it's one or the other. And then this room right here is the school room. You want to use the key to unlock that. You need the S room key. And inside here, you're going to have a UN equipment box. Scorpion bag, Spectre armor, which is not really the best armor. We're just going to take it for the money. There is a Type 51 pistol and a suppressor. And then you have a UN firearm box, which has blessed us with an MP5, an MC S700, and a repair kit. All right. Now, if you're looking for the schoolroom key, a couple of places it can spawn. Obviously, it's AI, but the AI right here, you can search for it there. And then down the street at the gas station as well, you could take out the AI in that area and get it as well. You can also get the shed key for the farm that we hit earlier in that same area. So, okay, we're gonna head back. Right up the Cobra. You could also go to Titan at the end of this run if you wanted to. All right, and we've made it back to Cobra. It's just FMJ ammo on the MP7 mag, not a big deal. Let's see, we'll sell the armor off. Go ahead and sell the weapons off. Sell off the repair kit. Go to turncoat. And here it is, guys. So we did that run. We did that run. Sold everything that we got from the run only. I don't believe we kept anything other than grenades this time and some ammo that we've already put away. But we made 22,798. Now, as far as the timer goes, it took us exactly 1 hour and 19 minutes and 20 seconds to complete this run and sell everything off. So just to recap real quick, the run started all the way over here at November 2. We went up to Ban Khampet, or BK. We went over to Fanny Paradise. Then we went up to ambushed UNLRA Convoy. Now keep in mind, in this area here, you do need the BK key right here, BK house key. Here, you would need the Fanny Paradise office key. I do not have that key, so I didn't do that in my run. We then went up to the radio tower, looted the boxes up there, hit the stash here, shot over to this area here at 183, 127, right? And then we came over through to the Inthavong Farms, hit the stash up in the lakes, came down to Eagle, offloaded down there, also hit Vong Pond on the way. Then we hit the Phourun Restaurant, and then we had to go down here to Wildcat and offload. Probably was a shorter run back to Eagle, but still we had to go to Wildcat, offload. Then we came back up to the hidden poppy fields and the Namlai Lake. We offloaded back at Gladiator. We shot over to the Inthavong Farm, looted the shed there, hit the stashes up here, offloaded at Cobra. Then we hit the stash over here, the stash down here, and then ended up at the abandoned UNLRA Evac Center. So our run started at November 2. It finished over by Mike 2. Again, this isn't the most optimized run. You know, there are some things I could have probably like looted better to increase my run time, or not picked up things to cause myself to go overweight and have to go offload. But I also probably wouldn't hit 22, almost 23,000 in this run. So this is my run that I like to do. I usually run it once or twice a day, depending on how much PvP or stuff I'm doing. So it is a longer run, like I said, but in my opinion, it's worth it. And maybe to you it's not, but I wanted to share this run with you all. If you've enjoyed this video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel for more Gray Zone Warfare content. You can always follow us over at twitch.tv/thedirtyrat as well. I do, live stream there Monday through Friday, about 7:30 at night Eastern Standard Time till roughly about 10:30. I said Monday through Friday. Sorry, it's Monday through Thursday is when I do that. I have been streaming more with all the Gray Zone, update stuff hitting and getting videos and stuff made for you all. But thanks for watching this Gray Zone Warfare video. If this video has helped you out, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, come follow us over on Twitch so you can get more Gray Zone Warfare content. And we'll see you in the jungle.